was it that I store from?
Yeah.
So keep that on the DL. So that's great. 6 o'clock, call the August 26th meeting to order. Ask clerk to take roll.
Dvorak?
Here.
Polk? Here. Walters?
Here.
Anderson?
Here.
Sarchet?
First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I have no additions or corrections. I'd take a motion.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Walters?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Polk? Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is recognition of Fire Captain Matt Gurdett and Firefighter EMT Ryan Brisley. Dwayne, not here. Chief, I'll pitch to you.
Yeah, I'd like for Captain Gurdett to kind of give you a brief synopsis before we get into the main part of this of what he had to go through to be involved in this deployment to Alaska. So without any further ado, I'll just turn it over to you and
Yes.
where it came from and how you came up with the idea, if you will.
Yeah, so last year we saw that there was a bunch of fires out in California. I thought, well, I'd go help do that. You know, they need some help out there. And started talking to people, and they're like, yeah, you know, you need certain training. You need to be part of a certain group to do that. So, okay, well, over the winter I figured out what training I needed to do, what groups I needed to get with. I did all the training over the winter. I got some guys from the department to do it with me. Mike Bernard finished the training with me, and so did Ryan Brisley. Mike wasn't able to get put on a team because of his availability, but Ryan and I did through the Iowa DNR and the Missouri interagency group. And we got a call start of July and said, hey, congrats, you're going to Alaska, so see you bye. 2 days later, we're on a plane heading up north. We're up there, it was 3 weeks total, but 2 weeks of actual work. There's a few days of travel time in between. And so my group ended up working 2 different fires, a Covey fire and a Goldstream Creek fire. Goldstream Creek one we got to fly into, which is kind of cool. And they helicoptered us in, and smoke jumpers were waiting for us, and fire's down there, go get it. And so we did that, working about 16 hours a day. Did that for pretty much all of July, and we came back home. So luckily I had family that supported me and was able to do it because of that. So
Very much an abbreviated version, and thank you for that. But I'd like to explain that the intense training that was required, that Matt had fortitude to push forward and go through. There's certifications that are required. He had to get a red card, they call a red card, and he was tested. How many miles did you have to walk with a
So the pack test is a 45-pound pack that you got to do 3 miles in 45 minutes. So it's like a brisk walk that you got to do the trip. And then there was 3 classes that you had to take that were, one was 8 hours, one was about 40, and another was about 16 to get it complete, and then a full day class.
These guys rented their own equipment, so they were prepared. It wasn't that the DNR or Polk City or anybody had the equipment for it. They had to get their own equipment, their own time. And so for that, with that, I guess on behalf of the mayor, the council, city administrator, and myself, we'd like to present an award for you. Come on up. So, this is actually a medal. It's called the Distinguished Service Award. And so, it's my honor to present this to you for your distinguished service, going above and beyond to volunteer to go out to Alaska and the hard work to get there, and then the hard work while he's there. So, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Did you get a photo?
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Didn't go to do that for this, but you know, I really thank you.
You earned it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Now time to close the regular meeting and open public hearing on the proposed voluntary annexation of Berger Farms. Ask the clerk when the notice was published.
August 2nd.
Any written comments for or against?
No, sir.
At this point, I'd like staff to provide a report.
Mayor and council, this is a proposed annexation of approximately 95 acres up north. It's 100% voluntary. It's on the west side of Northwest 72nd Street. Later in the agenda, you'll have the third reading on the proposed rezoning ordinance to change the zoning as it comes in as an A1 zone to rezone it to R1.
Anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against proposed annexation? Questions from here? Otherwise, I need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Vogel? Yes. Walters?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item is resolution 2019-66 approving the voluntary annexation. Questions, comments, or motion?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2019-66 approving voluntary annexation.
Roll call, please.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Vogel? Yes. Walters?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Motion carries. It's time again to close the regular meeting and open another public hearing for the proposed voluntary annexation of the Miller property. You can ask the clerk when the notice is published.
August 2nd.
Any comments for or against?
No, sir.
Again, have staff provide a report.
Yes, Mayor and Council, similar to the last item, this is another 100% voluntary annexation request from the property owner. It's approximately 33 acres at the northwest corner of North 3rd and Hug. And again, later in the agenda, you'll have the third reading of the request to rezone from A1 to come in as to R2.
Anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against proposed annexation? Comments, questions from here?
So, no issues. I did have a resident up there, and it probably ties a little bit to both of these about, talked to Don about it. I know I got word to you, Kathleen, but if we could, as much as you can at this point, give some indications on where the sewer and water lines are going to be. There was some concern based on where they were at, and where they might continue to go. I don't know. Did that get to you?
I don't know that I got that one, and I apologize. I was out for 2 weeks,
Okay.
and so I maybe.
That's the property owner on the south side of Hug,
Okay.
right next to the Miller property.
Yeah. That property I need to respond to. I mean, he was asking about the water main and the water, and I honestly I don't know where like his retaining wall's set in relationship to the right of way. We've not done anything there. I mean, at some point certainly we would want to have a water main loop between where this along Hug Drive between where this development is in front of that property owners and connect to the one in Whitetail Ridge / Big Valley, because that's an important loop. It's going to need to be completed. Whether that's worth it to bore to save trees. I mean, typically it's out in the water mains are well into the right of way, so should not be a significant issue with respect to his trees and retaining walls, assuming the retaining walls are on his property. The trees may very well be within the right of way, but they may be in a situation where you would be improving Hug Drive in the future. So to spend a lot of money to save a tree that you're going to take out if you improve the road wouldn't make sense either. So it's going to take a little bit more detailed survey, I guess, to give you a complete answer.
And I get it, and I think he does too. The point was, it's, early in the process rather than let it go through and plans are existing and wheels are in motion and all those things. So just wanted to have an idea where it was going, and I appreciate his foresight in coming up early. Just want to make sure it got connected. Is what it is for the most.
Need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Walters?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Dvorak? Vogel? Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, resolution 2019-67 approving voluntary annexation. Questions, comments, motion?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2019-67.
Second.
Roll call.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Vogel? Yes. Walters?
Yes. Motion Motion carries. Next item is public comments. This time and place for comments for any item other than those in a public hearing. Wish to speak, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard? Hearing none or seeing none. Moving on to consent agenda, I'm going to pull item F. Otherwise, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vogel? Yes. Walters?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Motion carries. I pulled item F, which is temporary site plan for North Polk Homecoming Parade and Pep Rally on September 20th, because we've got a couple people from North Polk who wish to speak. And so rather than throwing her into the public comments and keep comments to 5 minutes, we'll allow her to speak a little or something. Allie, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, I'll try to keep it pretty short and sweet. My name's Allie Cromley. I'm a junior at the North Polk High School. This is my advisor, Mrs. Huther, and the superintendent, Dr. Mart, is over there. We are here to talk about our first ever homecoming parade. We're super excited about it, and it's actually coming to Polk City. So homecoming is on September 20th, and the parade will take place at 2:15, which is before the game. And the reason that we wanted to have this parade is because our North Polk Student Council wanted to build on the strong relationship between schools and communities. This was one of the ways that we just thought of, with our goal being united students in the community to build and maintain a strong relationship and tradition. So this was just one of the ideas that correlated to our theme, and we're super excited to bring this to our community. The reason we chose Polk City is because it's our district's largest town, and it's home to many North Polk alumni, and it's a great place to start, and we hope to establish a good tradition here. So moving on to the homecoming details, this was shared with you guys on your summary, but the parade route will start over by the West Elementary School, which is further up on Broadway / Parker. All the floats will line up in the West Elementary parking lot, and they'll be dismissed at 2:15. One of the things that we decided to do is close off the barricade once they reach a certain point on Broadway. That way that Broadway can open up a little bit sooner than having it closed off for 45 minutes. And it's a really high traffic area, so that'd just be more beneficial to everybody that lives around there. So the parade will go all the way down to the City Square, and it'll pull off into the grassy lot behind the Grinnell Bank. Everybody that's walking the parade will take a right and go straight to the town square for the pep rally after the homecoming parade, and everybody on the floats will go all the way to the grassy lot and then walk back after. The buses that bring all the students to Polk City, sorry, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
There's buses that are going to bring all the middle school, elementary, and high school students to Polk City. Will park over in the street behind Rising Sun Cafe. That way, they're just going to park there temporarily, and that way, when students are done with the pep rally, they just walk back there. That way, they're not in the high traffic area of main downtown. So that's kind of all the street names and stuff like that. Moving on to the actual homecoming parade details. We're going to have middle schoolers and elementary students be walking in the parade. We at first were thinking that the middle schoolers were going to have floats, but they're middle school and it's really hard to make floats at that age, especially in the high school. It's just a big undertaking for the first year. I don't know if you guys grew up with homecoming parades. I know my mom did and my dad. And they're like, we don't have a homecoming parade. Like, this is so sad. And we're like, yeah, what's that? So we're trying to start this now. Middle schoolers hopefully in the future will have floats, but for now they're going to be walking with their signs. So that's a change that we hope to make in the future, but for now it's just going to stay like that. We hope that the middle schoolers and the 4th and 5th graders will be walking. We're not going to do 3rd through kindergarten just because they're a little young for this. We wanted to make sure that both Central Elementary and West Elementary were combined. So that's why we chose 4th and 5th grade. And we hope that they'll make signs. And I've been going on Pinterest and just looking at sign ideas, and they're so cute. And I know that some parents will get really involved with this, and I know my parents will. But that's what we hope for from the 4th and 5th graders. Middle schoolers that will be walking the parade are going to be all the football players, cross country, volleyball, cheer, band. We're going to have the band. I'm not sure if they're playing their instruments in the parade. School song? Yep, they're going to be playing the school song in the parade. Didn't know. But that's our plans for middle school. High schoolers, they're gonna have the opportunity to create floats and they can walk if they'd like. We reached out to all the high school activities by creating a Google form and asking if they would like to provide their own flatbed or if they need help from us. If they need help from us, we'll be contacting the district through a whole district email and just asking. I mean, obviously it's a farm community. I'm sure we have plenty of flatbeds. We're not too worried about that, but we're not going to worry about it until the time arises. I missed. Yeah, so all the high school, pep rally too. The high schoolers will be dismissed from the high school at 1, making sure they have time to come. All the floats must be lined up by 1:30, and they can start lining up at 12. The parade will hopefully get over at 3 o'clock, and the pep rally will start at 3 o'clock and end at 3:15, allowing that 15 to 3:30 time to load the buses. The pep rally, like I said, will start at 3, and we'll have a speaker being our head football coach and hopefully a North Polk administrator talking about the new tradition, homecoming parade, and stuff like that. A microphone and sound system will be set up in the gazebo in the square, and Cosmo the mascot will make his appearance, and he will be helping the cheerleaders with some cheers. And middle school and high school band will be playing the school fight song. And as soon as the pep rally is over at 15, everybody will head back to the buses, or high schoolers will head back to their cars. I think I covered everything.
Good job.
So.
Good job. So we did have a kickoff meeting on this a couple weeks ago. Dan and myself were there. We had Randy with Public Works, Bridget, and we all met and talked about this and gave them some information. And I think kind of their head got a little like, oh, how are we going to pull this off? And then she goes and puts this amazing site plan together. That's probably one of the best site plans.
Could you do that for some of our development?
Yeah, my goodness.
You can ask this high school art teacher over here.
Yeah, I get a copy of it. It's like, can you review it? It's like, my gosh. I can't. So, but no, I think that this is great. I love the fact that you guys want to do this. Dan, I know we talked about this a little bit, and I know they're excited. The transportation director's a little stressed out about it, but we'll get through that. As far as how we're going to coordinate all the buses in town that day, we'll work with staff to make all this happen. But great job. You did a very nice job presenting to the council, so good job. Anybody have any questions for them? I mean, I think this is awesome.
No, but I want to
so.
jump in on that
Yeah.
and say how impressed I am. I mean, this is not any bit of an easy task what you did, and Ellie, you did a fabulous job of explaining every single I mean, I can tell you guys have thought through it all. You have excitement, you have ideas, so thank you for all the work that you guys that are here tonight and anyone else involved is putting into this, because this is very exciting, and again, this is not an easy undertaking, so thank you.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I was concerned. My wife said that homecoming was on the 20th, right? And I'm like, there's no. How are we gonna put a parade? This was last night because I got and I'm like, well, how do they plan on doing a parade? You just
Now you got it.
I mean, you guys have it all figured out, so I really appreciate it. Thank you. Cooperation and your presentation as well.
Thank you.
I'm even more excited to have you on the community visiting project too, now that I know you can do all this stuff.
Yes, I actually attended the last meeting, but
Dan, do you have anything else to add from the technicality side of everything we're going to have to work together?
Buses when we need to go and I get kids loaded. Yeah, that's all I'm worried about.
Yeah.
And the weather. All right. There you go. Nothing else. I'd take a motion on that, please.
Don't move. Second.
Roll call.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, business items. Item A, Mary Kirkwood Acres Plat 2. First item, Resolution 2019-81 approving preliminary plat.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is a two-lot subdivision in the rural Polk County. It is within the 2-mile extraterritorial jurisdiction of Polk City. Basically, the lot will be divided. It's 12.26 acres. The first lot will be 1.25 acres. The other lot will be 11.11 acres. There's no public improvements associated with this development. It's with separation of one lot into two, and you have before you both preliminary and final plat.
So move.
Second.
Sure.
Perfect. Roll call.
Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, resolution 2019-82, approving the final plat. Need a motion.
So,
Second.
Roll call.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Vogel. Yes. Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet.
yes.
Motion carries. Next item, Davis Street Reconstruction Project. First item, resolution 2019-83, approving change order number 6 in the amount of $83.35. Kathleen, you want to speak to any of this?
Yeah, that just represents the final adjustment of quantities. Pretty minor.
Take a motion.
Second?
Roll call.
Vogel.
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Motion carries. Next item, resolution 2019-84, approving pay app number 9 in the amount of $4,088.17. Anything else to add?
Not really in terms of this pay application. This is work through, apologize here. What the date was, sorry about that. Work performed, I guess, to date here on as of the date 8/23, so probably through the end of July. So that's essentially the sub-final pay application. We're anticipating a final pay application and acceptance of the project the next time. The pay up, since we're zeroing out the quantities, that next pay application will actually be in the amount of $0, but just to trigger the 30-day retainage period. The other thing I wanted to mention, though, with respect to that is, you'll notice that we want to get direction on that next pay application because the contractor did exceed the number of working days. Used 92.5 working days as opposed to the 81 working days in the contract. We've had several meetings with the contractor and city staff and are requesting liquidated damages be charged for the equivalent of 3 working days, and that equates to our fees. We look back through our fees to determine how much of our fees we can actually attribute to the fact the contract went over. That was the amount of our fees, so we felt that seemed reasonable. The working day overage was more waiting on grass to grow and some sod to take. The contractor was working toward that. So during that period of time, the city had full use of the roadway and those kinds of improvements, the sidewalk. That's our recommendation, but we do need some direction so that we make sure we properly prepare those closeout documents and that zero change.
Just give direction to bring it back at the next meeting, and
Yeah,
that way
as long
you're
as
not
there's
making any
concurrence.
decision
Yeah, it's just
on
based
it.
on
They're
that
not making any
recommendation.
decision on it. But
No,
you
no,
bring-
it's just before we have the
bring you
contractor. Yeah, that's what we would be bringing back.
Just kind of a
Yeah.
head nod.
Make a decision without it being
Right.
on the agenda.
Kind of a head nod. You're good. with
Or
that.
just give direction and then you make a decision at the next meeting.
Right.
Questions, comments for Kathleen regarding that direction, or good with that? Not.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? I was reading as you were, so the alternative is either to take no action.
Well, you
Well,
can't take any
yeah.
action on it, but
Yeah.
the engineer is recommending that 3 days of liquidated damages be charged rather than 11.
And that would be on the next pay application.
That would be on the next step.
It's just before we had the
So it doesn't
contract.
change the 4,050.
No,
No,
not.
no.
No.
Okay.
No, because we're still withholding some retainage that would cover that difference.
So get a motion on this one, get this through, and then,
Correct,
Okay.
and then it's really
Correction.
more,
Okay.
yeah, that's how it will be brought back unless
All right.
staff directs otherwise.
Yeah,
Right.
just the retainage amount, just so you're aware, is $14,102.05. So the retainage exceeds even the 11 and a half days of liquidated damage.
Motion to approve resolution 2019-80.
Second.
roll call.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Vogel. Yes. Walters.
Yes. Motion carries, and we'll,
Just bring it back in that way and then they can make a
Mhm.
decision at that point in time.
perfect, explain that. Next item, contract with PFM for water rate study in the amount of $6,500. You guys are here as well. Don will pitch in that we can tag team on this a little bit?
Yes, Mayor and Council has just heard their presentation at the work session on the work they did on sanitary sewer study. We're proposing to the council to hire PFM to do a similar study for the Water Enterprise Fund. The Water Enterprise Fund, as you know, is probably a little more stable than the sewer fund at this point, but there's some major projects that are in the works. And to have this kind of background information and preparation, water tower is the primary one. That's a project that's probably 3 or 4 years off. So if you're needing to look at rate adjustments, it's good to have that information at this point so you can start planning for any rate adjustments or to accommodate that. This recommendation for proposal came out of the Finance Committee meeting a couple of weeks ago. That PFM put together this proposal. It's in your packet. Matt or John, if you have anything you want to add to that.
Questions, comments, or motion?
So I'm for this based on what we got with the sewer. I would like, and Lindsay followed up with me, I know we're under contract for a different firm. Maybe I'm drawing a bad conclusion here, but would there be any discount or cross usage of kind of, rather than going a la carte with sewer and then a la carte water, to more comprehensive planning consultation that you guys do, even though we are under contract with another firm that maybe hasn't been delivering the way that we could use? And I don't know how, trying to be careful here on what I'm saying, but
And to add to that, the Forecast 5 analytics would never do like rate study. So it's not even in the same boat.
I get that, but what I'm asking, I guess, is we've done the sewer over here, and we're going to do the water over here to bring you guys in for something similar to what they're trying to do, or is there? I know you guys bid before, and I don't think we fully vetted it, so we may be on the hook for what we've agreed to, but I would be in favor of pursuing in addition to this, so that changed the motion here, but doing something that gets us to what we thought we were getting a little. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, sorry.
I think it's a great question. A lot of the communities we work with were it's a more comprehensive basis and we call that kind of a retainer services, where it's a set amount for analyzing the TIF fund, analyzing the debt service fund, analyzing the water fund, analyzing the sewer. Matt now has stormwater cash flow funds, local option sales tax cash flow funds. It's basically trying to help the city with all of the financial plans that Lindsay needs a little more view into the future. It's in a more comprehensive basis. We have retainer fees anywhere from $6,500 for everything, all the way up to $28,500 for the city of Waukee. They have us running 10 different cash flow models, updating probably every month. You may have talked to Tim about that. They're constantly, hey, something changed. I want an analysis to update this to see. So they're in real time as they get decisions that are brought to them projects. It's being updated within a couple of weeks. And that's the type of level plan they're doing. You may not need that type of firepower, but updating the water cash flow every time you do a new budget, every time there's a new audit, every time there's a new capital project that's proposed, we can respond very quickly and provide that to you. So maybe you could visit with the finance committee and come up. Maybe Lindsay might have a different view of that. Is kind of what works best for you, because we don't have a set way of doing things. Everybody's different, and it's figuring out what makes the most sense for you, and we can come up with a feasible for that. The analysis that Matt was doing, I would say for the sewer fund with the rate study component, that was a little more above and beyond the retainer fees, so that causes a lot more time to analyze. Once we have it built, now it's updating for each fiscal year, or each budget. That's a lot easier to do when that's already done. By building it from scratch, studying the contracts, studying the data, studying your users. We have that knowledge now, and once we build it, it's way easier to keep updating it, way more comprehensive discounts.
And to just, I think, kind of go where you're going with this is that would that change this fee necessarily for the water?
Probably not for this fee, but for going forward,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I
All
think we could probably update all of these
Yep.
models consistently for
Yep.
something that's closer to 6,000 for everything. And that could be TIF, debt service levy, local option sales tax, storm, water, sewer. And we actually give presentations once the budget's been prepared. We present these cash flows to a lot of councils to show, hey, adopted this budget, this capital improvement plan. Here's what it looks like long term. Are we making proper decisions today for something that's going to happen next year, all year, next 5 years, to give you kind of that view of what does it look like 3 years from now with this water project? What should we be thinking about today that's going to affect us make a better decision 4 years from now? And so that's I think the beauty of these models, because there's two ways to do that water tower. You could ignore it until it shows up. 0 rate increase, 0 rate increase, 0 rate increase, and all of a sudden now it's a 10, 15, 20% increase. A lot of cities will see it coming and go 4%, 6%, 7%, and they'll build their rates up to be there when they need to be there. So they don't hit their citizens with double increases. And then hopefully then in a perfect world, use some of the cash that they built up to pay down so they don't have to borrow 100% of the project so they can plan ahead. So I hope, does that answer your question?
It does, and I think one of the first conversations I had with Don was building a budget book, which hits on, I think, one of the things you're talking about with that. So, yeah, I think that's where and full disclosure, I think, shame on me or as someone who pushed for Forecast 5 last time around and not getting, kind of what we originally had hoped for with them for a year or so, and I think that's just bill we got to swallow.
Yeah, I think as we've looked at those, it's the really interaction between staff, us, finance committee, you guys, that's what makes the magic, I think. And it's hard to put that in a software system to do that because there's a lot of interaction going on and the reactions to what's been said, discussed, and the political side of it. That's where I think the magic happens, that back and forth. And it's tough to duplicate with Forecast 5.
I don't think it'd be important for, we do have a new city administrator starting, city manager. So obviously she'll need to get up to speed on everything, and, just a fresh perspective and let her tell us what she thinks and like say. But I mean,
Yeah,
I think you're onto something.
That's what I thought after seeing what was provided during this sewer rate study is this is, long-term good information to make good decisions on, and, that's what we need. And, so I would see where this goes, wherever, but I think, right now looking at a water rate study and knowing that that's the price of that and anything we have in the future may take that into account, I think that's great.
Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion, absolutely, yes, unless anyone has another comment, but I will make a motion, and I am very excited about it.
Second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Walters?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sarchet? Dvorak?
Yes.
Vogel?
Yes.
Motion carries. And I may just echo on that and just have you work with Lindsay, Dawn, whoever, and maybe kind of mold something that we could look at, so we know what we're talking about from a number perspective. Sure. As we move forward here in these next few months, have something in front of us. Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your presentation earlier, too.
Thank you.
Next item, final reading ordinance 2019-800, approving Bergeron Farms rezoning A1 to R1.
Second.
Roll call.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Vogel?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, final reading of ordinance 2019-900, approving Miller property rezoning from A1 to R2. Need a motion? So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
Vogel?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Motion carries. Next item, 506 East Broadway, second reading ordinance 2019-1100, approving rezoning from U1 to R1. Motion.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
Walters?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Dvorak? Vogel?
Yes.
Next would be an option to waive the final reading of ordinance 2019-1100, approving, that'd be the final reading of ordinance 2019-1100, approving rezoning. Anybody want to take it? not to.
Not to. Yeah, I think
I mean,
any question, or any reason to,
To
or not.
or not to, I guess, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Any rumblings on this at all?
Then we have to remember that we're setting a precedent for doing it if we have no reason to do it. I'm not saying it's not, it's semantics at this point. I'm just saying that it's.
I don't know that we are. I mean, they're all
Well,
stand on their own merit, I think. So,
well, that's fair. I don't care either way because nobody else does.
yeah,
So.
we're getting rid of red.
No, that nobody cares either way. So
I knew what you meant.
I'm up for whatever. I'm fine with
You
it.
can see it as either getting rid of red tape or squashing the opportunity for conversation. If we're getting rid of red tape, I'm all for that.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, second reading of ordinance 2019-1000, repealing chapter 9 of the urban revitalization plan. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Vogel,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Dvorak.
Motion carries. Next item, engineering services agreements for revisions of the Polk City subdivision ordinance for Snyder and Associates, the amount of $18,000. Don?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is an item that we've talked about off and on for the last few months, that the city subdivision ordinance is in need of updating. It's several years old, and Snyder and Associates, who work with it on a regular basis, have recommended that it be reviewed and rewritten. This is the proposal they've submitted. It's got a timeline that it would be completed shortly after the first of the year, hopefully before any plats would start rolling in next year for 2020, so that new regulations will be in place for those developments. Kathleen?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what year it was adopted. I started working with the city in 2003, and it was old at that point in time. So I think it goes back to pre-SUDAS even, and there's substantial changes, a lot of which were discussed through the comprehensive planning process and recommendations, implementation plan of the comprehensive plan. But probably one of the main ones just jumps out at me is the stormwater management. Right now, the city does not require any kind of detention for single family. We've kind of been getting some where we're comparing existing flows to proposed pre-development flows, if you want to look at it that way, to post-development flows, and trying to equalize it, but it's not getting any kind of tension, so you're really not consistent with what's going on with the metro area. There was, a recent presentation talking about trying to standardize those kinds of requirements throughout the metro area. So that's one of the areas. There's numerous areas that they're just not working well.
One area that should be addressed is the stream bank buffer ordinance. With all the stream banks, Polk City has, there needs to be an ordinance guide governing those buffer zones.
Yeah, and where we're looking at, and again, it'll come out of discussions with, we're looking at the Planning and Zoning Commission as being the steering committee essentially. But honestly, if you guys have any, I can present it to you, and it updates it since I'm here anyway, periodically. And if you have any input at all, obviously you've been looking at subdivisions as well, and are very familiar with a lot of the issues that we've got. A lot of the issues do relate to erosion on the embankments, as Don mentioned. So.
Questions for Dawn or Kathleen? No? Or a motion? Needed.
So moved.
Roll call.
Sarchet, Dvorak,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Walters,
Abstain.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, reports and particulars. Staff have anything? Jim, anything else? Library? Nothing? Anything? I'll come back to you. Okay. I'll start down on this end.
Dave, you brought up a meeting or two ago, kicking back off with our Parks and Rec. I'd like to start those. I think your earlier point on getting Chelsea up to speed is still valid, but I think there's probably some work that we can do now, even ahead of that. And the reason I bring it up now is I had a conversation with Elizabeth Lyons, who's going to be moving downtown on the square and runs Kids Create with the heads up from Bridget. And what was telling to me, exciting overall, but I don't want to lose sight of that too much, but in conversations with her, she had a really good base of clientele with Granger, with Ankeny, with Grimes. And that's because she's on their Parks and Rec list. And she doesn't have that here. And she's a resident here. And she's based out of here. And so it just, all the stuff that we worked through before. So whatever we can do to my opinion, cross the T's and dot the I's to get this set up as soon as possible. So I don't know who's scheduled, but I can for that matter. But
yeah, I think it's a great thing to continue to do. You know, we took a little time off, but I think it's definitely no better time than the present. So I don't know. Do you want to set meetings up? Sure. I think we did every other Tuesday or once. We'll figure it out. Yeah, between us. Thank you. Thanks.
Ron?
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed the last meeting, but I was in Portland, Oregon, seeing our city promoted. They have a big board out there with the standings. It says Central Iowa Little League, Polk City, Iowa. We were mentioned on ESPN. The games I weren't at, or even some of the games I was at, I watched them again, and every time they referred to Central Iowa, they referred to the city, which was pretty exciting. But I watched the broadcast of that meeting I missed, and something I missed out on was the announcement of Adam Vanderleest moving on, and gonna miss him. And that's something that's always pleased me and excited me, is when a local kid, first of all, decides to stay in Polk City, someone I've known since before they were in kindergarten, and then contribute to the community in the manner he did. I find that real exciting. And when young kids do that, and we had another good example of it here tonight, and you never know, they may grow up to be mayor someday. And then I'd like to say,
I met you in second grade, so let's be clear about that.
That's a cautionary tale.
And then I'd like to recognize Trace and thank him for his work with the deer hunting. It's something that's been needed for a long time. I've had some questions about it, but it's pretty simple. We've just had, there's been deer hunting inside of Polk City for as long as I've lived here. And the problem with it in the past was there was never any controls. And we never seemed to want to get there. And now with your initiative, we're having those rules put in place. And that's, I think, needed and greatly appreciated. So thank you.
Breaking news. There's been deer hunting in Polk City before this.
I've heard rumors.
Oh, okay. Just
We don't want to make them mad. There's more of them.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'll have a list. I'll probably do 2 runs, just if anybody's interested, since you brought up to next council meeting on the agenda to bring before you for approval for areas, hunters. And since we got kind of late start with the ordinance compared to when other cities roll theirs out, I'll take the time and do a second if we need to. Then we'll get to start at the beginning of the season, but they'll get to start a couple weeks after. It's a long season, runs through the week of January, so they'll have plenty of time.
I was just incredibly energized by that, or just happy to see the school in the city, that bridge that both my kids have been through the system. I guess here, but you know, it's always been something that I just really fought for a few times and tried to get there, but it just kind of, you know, there's just this feels like 8 or 9 miles is just forever. But we think we finally got the bridge together. The homecoming parade is one of those areas that, in RVTV, you know, having the cooperation. I mean, there's just some really breaking of bread in different areas that really makes me feel good. Appreciate everybody's work that has done that. It's what it should be. That just really good feeling. So thank you for that.
I will kind of similar off that, but just again, I always bring up the positive here. And when people say, "Why did you run for city council?" It is because I love living here and all the people here. And I guess I'm crazy for wanting to get into all the other details, but you know, RVTV, that is a huge, exciting thing we have going on. The homecoming parade. You look at the firefighters who were recognized for going up and fighting fires far away from here. Their families that supported them as they went and did that. we just have some really great people that put forth a lot of effort to make awesome things happen. Then back to the detail stuff. Thank you to Lindsay, Jenny, and Mike. I know our financial planning is really taking a big step in the right direction with looking at sewer rates and forward to water. And I had mentioned you guys the feedback you had, the quick responses, that you guys were amazing. So again, we always know you do a great job, but it's great to hear it from others as well. And thank you for all your efforts in making sure that we had good, reliable, quick information to look at there. And I know Jamie didn't mention it, but heads up, it's not here yet, but the library is going to be doing some strategic planning and some survey. I think there was something on Facebook, but we want citizens to participate in this survey that's going to come out about the library, whether you're a user or not a user of the library, to kind of set some of the library's forward thinking as well. So quick plug for that. It'll be announced when it's here and ready to go, but make sure you guys keep your eye out for that and encourage people, whether they are current users of the library or not, to give that feedback. That's really valuable.
September 20th is the Central Iowa Green Infrastructure Conference at DMAC in Ankeny. I think that would be a good opportunity for staff, or council, whoever from the city to go to this conference, especially with our future adoption of ordinance that will include stormwater management. This is a good opportunity to learn about green infrastructure, ways to get away from traditional pipe infrastructure and stormwater management. Just good opportunity for an understanding within the context of city staff and council to better understand. You don't just have to throw stormwater pipes in the ground to get the water off site.
Excellent. So, real quick, and you kind of went where I was going, but, and unfortunately Dan left, but so this parade thing was kind of a big deal. So we found out about it when we went over to the North Polk School Board meeting, and I was in a different meeting with Bridget, and I left together only to have her say, hey, 9 days after RVTV, the school wants to do a parade in town. But I just thought that was great, right? And the reason they did it is because they wanted to be in Polk City, which hasn't been that many years ago. That wouldn't have happened. And so that is a really good feeling. And I do know that when we started talking about getting RVTV, the first thing and the most important thing, and if you read Bridget's memo, it was to do this through the North Polk community. And Bridget was up in Elkhart today. She was trying to work on them even some more. So we're really, really, really promoting this as a whole community-wide event. And so I appreciate everything you've done, to pull all that together. And in about a couple of weeks, we can take a breath. So just a reminder that the next council meeting is on the 10th rather than on the 9th. So do come down. I know you got the list of activities put together today. That's out. So we're kind of getting ready here. We did meet with John Sears from Channel 13 here a week ago, I guess is when he was here. They're really excited to come check out Polk City and trying to get some stories. If anybody has any stories that they want to get promoted within Polk City, get with Bridget. She'll get news. So.
I got stories, but I don't know if you're going on TV or not.
Ron's actually on the list.
Yeah, I know he is. That's why I was getting that.
I just wanted to mention too, last Tuesday, we did the education luncheon for 250 staff over there. And Dan and I spoke briefly about RVTV, but also about the homecoming parade. And their staff over there is ecstatic that the city, police, public works, everyone's working together to make this happen. That Saturday afternoon or Friday afternoon, when Allie was talking, there'll be 2,000 kids and families and staff over there to celebrate North Polk's home, which will be exciting. Scary from a safety standpoint, but exciting nonetheless. So that was really good. And as Mayor said, I was over in Elkhart today, and they are excited as well to be promoting the whole North Polk community. They're involved. City of Alleman is helping. The North Polk Student Council is actually, as they're planning their homecoming parade, they're also planning events for RVTV as well. So they're busy. So it's been really fun to have everyone join together.
There's some cool stuff planned that day, so make it a point to come down here. Anyway, that's all I have. Just a reminder, we're meeting again on Tuesday, September 10th. Need a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, wait. You're right. We have a closed session. I missed that. Okay, so
Well,
sorry.
we still have to adjourn a regular session.
Yeah, we do.
But you can do
We're
that
going in.
without-
Okay, we're going to go into closed. I need a motion to go into closed session. Gotcha. I need a motion to go into closed session under Code of Iowa, Chapter 21, official meetings open to public. Closed session to discuss purchase or sale of particular real estate. Need a motion for that.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Vogel? Yes. Walters?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Motion carries. We'll take 5. I need, who do I need here? Amy. Jenny. Yeah, Kathleen.
Let me.
What?
Got that. Thanks, Chief.
Never seen him look so dressed up.
I know. Crazy. Oh, I knew right when she walked
Well,
in.
I knew they were
They missed the
too,
public comments part.
but, well, they did, but still.
You gotta be on time.
We're friend,